The income illusion. 6 reasons why making more money didn't make things easier. We all think that once the money starts coming in, the hard part is over. But the truth is, the more you make, the more you have to manage. Welcome to Season 17, Episode 9 of Zulf Talks podcast, Working for Yourself. Everything I share here comes from what I'm doing in real time, step by step. This journey is fully self-funded, no sponsors, no outside investment, powered by the work I do at trustedcreators.org. And today we're talking about a belief that quietly breaks a lot of people.
Working for yourself, I know you love it. Working for yourself, cause I love it too. Working for yourself, Zulf talks about it, making it easy for you. Working for yourself, go be your own boss. Working for yourself, Zulf will help you along. Working for yourself, powered by trusted creators, zulftalks.com.
So what is this income illusion? We've been conditioned to believe that more money is the finish line. That once revenue hits a certain number, stress disappears, decisions get easier, and the business somehow starts running itself. But as I've scaled this journey, I've discovered the opposite. More money doesn't solve your problems, it upgrades them. Growth doesn't require less discipline, it requires more. What do I mean by that? Making more money, I discovered year 2, I was self-employed. I started my company, year 1 did well, year 2 did better. And I was like, wait a minute, you know what? I'm making more. I could improve the team around me, okay. But in the next episode season, I'll explain more about that, why and what challenges are faced by doing that. So there are ways of managing things better. There's different ways of doing it, different types of people out there. Everybody's got their own good list, bad list, what they're good at, what they're bad at. Not everybody can be like, I don't know, Lord Sugar, someone, make it so big that everybody around you is really great and you're paying everybody loads and you're making the next thing. There's still an element of the more you make, the more problems seem to be there. And do you look at those? Are you a half glass empty or half glass full type of person? Why I'm doing this, the reality test. I've reached income levels I used to dream about. I talked about in the last episode, earning in 3 days, earning as much money as you would earn in a year's worth of salary. And I was surprised. What surprised me the most was they didn't come with the sense of peace I expected. So I'm documenting it, rebuilding the thoughts around this to show you that chasing a number without structure is dangerous. That's the important bit. The structure needs to be there. And that foundations matter more than milestones. 6 reasons more money is harder. The reality check. Complexity versus cash. Every new stream of income adds drag. More tracking, more reporting, more admin, more mental bandwidth. Why were you doing it? Why did you want to make more money? What's the key thing you can't do right now that you can do with more money? Think about that. That's a question you want to ask yourself. Revenue doesn't scale cleanly. Complexity scales alongside it. The more money you make, the more complicated things become. The more new routes you need to think about. What do you do with all the profits? How can you keep yourself productive? All the tax implications, all the new sets of rules that come with having more money. Decision fatigue. When you're starting out, a bad £50 decision doesn't really matter. When you're scaling, a bad £50,000 decision can derail your entire day, month, year, depending on what you're making. At higher income levels, you can't rely on instinct alone. You need data, you need processes, and they need to be able to have time to think. You need people there who are experienced with that, and they come at a cost. So think about it. The responsibility shift is interesting here. At the beginning, you're the creator. But things grow, you become the manager of your own success. You're suddenly dealing with brand deals, lawyers, accountants, large brands, creators, and the fun, creative time gets squeezed unless you protect it deliberately and you set up people to communicate those brand deals, those lawyers, those accountants. The efficiency is a trap. A big budget can create a false sense of safety. You start spending to solve problems instead of fixing the systems underneath them. And that's how waste creeps in. If your foundation isn't solid, more money doesn't make you efficient. It just makes your mistakes more expensive. You made your choice. You're doing really well. Have you set up processes there to help you maintain that and delegate? Is your delegation to other people going to make that work as good as what you want it to be? Let me use an example here. Remember the accountant I talked about? They had an amazing YouTube channel. They drew me in. I became a customer. They palmed me off to one of their team managers. I didn't get the level of service I expected because I was hoping that the main guy would deal with me. The accountants are obviously doing stuff well because they've got people to delegate to. But I'm not getting the same level of service because I was expecting grade A when I've been palmed off to grade C. I'm the creator in this example. Someone comes to me as a brand deal. They expect to get my quality. My team don't have the experience I have. I can share that with them. I can teach them that. But will they ever be as good as my 20 years worth of experience in year one? Not really. So will they get a lower quality? Yes, they will, because it's not me making it. It's a team member making it. We'll charge them accordingly, lower fee. But does that make sense? It's an efficiency trap. Works always in every scenario. New stakes, new stress. The stress doesn't disappear, it shifts. You stop asking, will I make a sale? And start asking, can I sustain the level of performance from last month? Consistency becomes heavier than survival ever was. The structure is a requirement. You can hustle your way through zero. You cannot hustle your way through a six-figure business. At a certain point, systems become non-negotiable. Organizations can't live in your head, and discipline replaces motivation. You need to get stuff down on paper. You need to have processes. Are you going to be a big process map for everything? Time, cost, admin. Every eventuality can't be put down on paper. Some things you need to use your intrinsic feel, your depth, your gut feel for. Like the choices you make, you can't always communicate that to someone else. It's just what you feel in the moment. When you talk to someone, is this deal for us? It's a big deal, but you know what? My gut feel tells me the way they're talking is, I don't think this is for us, because they're expecting more from what they're putting in, if that makes sense. I'll share the exact tools and frameworks I keep to manage trusted creators that are running without breaking its own weight. I got to a point where things work, I stuck to those things, and I worked out a balance, and I was happy with a certain amount to keep the company alive. Profit was like, do I need it? Not really. I'm quite content where we are right now. So that's not going to be great, because most people are driven to keep every year exceeding, but you need to think about what that means in your life. What's more important to you? So again, we're officially into season 17 here. The business built, the mindset is set. We're talking about sustainability and playing the long game. It's like a psychological infinite game that you think about and you're like, what's going on? Does it matter what's officially going on between businesses? It's like we're getting more into the psychological side of stuff. And that's what really gets you when you're working on these types of situations. And you want to keep that in your mind when you're growing your business. All of this is like really easy to maintain if you know what your goal is, what you're doing, why you're doing it. Are you doing it to make money? How much money is enough money? And at the same time, how much work is enough for that money? What growth is really required during this process? When do you decide to have people jump in and help you with that? Hiring, trusting, and letting go. Do people work to the level you want them to work? Will you always be okay with that? That's going to be my next episode. I'm going to go on to that, because finding the right people and keeping them maintained in the team is a big help. But at the same time, if you get the wrong ones, it's a big hindrance. So in the next episode, we're going to talk a little bit more about that. And I'll see you on that one. It would be really good if you can leave a review wherever you're listening to this. The show resources are available at zulftalks.com.